I enjoy working with you and all your leadership in the community. Real quick, folks, it's good to get up here and kind of talk to you all tonight. If I can, I just want to go over a couple of issues. One, first is something a little more general as it relates to the city in general terms, kind of give you a sense of where we are, some of the things that you don't read in the newspaper, some that you do. Right now, we recently had a hearing about 2 weeks ago to determine what the status of the city. As you know, there's been a number of financial challenges. We've had deficits over the last couple of years because of the national economy. Unfortunately, the city of Philadelphia is suffering some of the same things that everybody else is. So our revenues coming into the city as it relates to taxes for business, as it relates to taxes, as it relates to real estate, and as it relates to wage taxes have been dropping dramatically. So that has created an environment where there's been less money for the city to operate. Unfortunately, we have had over the last couple of years to raise some fees, a few taxes. We had to raise the sales tax and some of the fees. The good thing is that all of those are temporary. So as of next year, they will be going away. The bad thing is this year you will be seeing some increases in some of those fees, some of the sales. The positive thing that came as a result of the hearing is that we actually found out that our city financially has actually stabilized based on the money that's come in, based on the cuts that we make. We make a lot of cuts, and some of them, frankly speaking, we really didn't want to have to do, but at the end of the day, you can only spend the money that you have. That's just the reality. I know a lot of people in various communities, when you have less money coming in, you got to make some changes in your household. So we as a city have to do the same thing too. I got to tell you, I'm a little concerned about some of the things that may happen on the state level. The state is actually right now projected to have a $500 million deficit. That's a big one. I'm hoping that in this particular case, some of the politicians that make these promises during the course of the campaign actually don't keep their word. And I'll tell you why. When people are running, particularly in this environment, they say, well, we're not raising any taxes, we're going to cut, we're going to get rid of funding to this, we're going to get rid of funding to that. People say, yeah, that's good, yeah, that's right. But at the end of the day, the money that is raised and the cuts that'll happen will result in less money and less support for the city of Philadelphia. So if Harrisburg right now says, we're going to eliminate $500 million of money that we need to give to the city, like all other cities across the state, for reduction in, they call them reimbursements, money that they have to give because we help run the courts and we help run children, childhood services, things like that. Then guess who's going to have to pay for it? The city of Philadelphia. So then we'll be in a position where next year we say, well, we didn't get this money from the state, and guess where we have to ask the money from? From you guys. And that's not fair. Right? So I'm hoping that in this particular case, the elected officials that will be running the state, frankly speaking, don't keep their words. I hope they understand that we have a lot of challenges. We do not want to have to close fire stations. We do not want to have to cut back on library hours. We do not want to have to cut back on all of the things that are necessary. Some of the things that we probably can do now, we're going to look at that. There are certain things that we just have to have. You can't have a community that doesn't have appropriate fire and police services. This is not something that we want. So a lot of that's going to play out early on in the first of the year. And we'll see what happens. One of the other things, and I was talking about it briefly, and I was talking earlier to Barry about one of the things that, to a degree, I was responsible for in terms of moving legislation to support was the Cancer Treatment Center expansion program. It called for a number of stages. And as a result of that, it requires certain zoning that we pass based on agreements and understandings that we have from the individuals running the Cancer Treatment Center in the local community. I've been hearing things, and I've got a couple of letters referencing some of the agreements that, frankly speaking, have not been upheld to a level that people feel comfortable with, particularly as it relates to hiring opportunities. One of the biggest things that we talked about when we talked some of the meetings that we had, we wanted to make sure that while we support the expansion, but that the local community gets the advantages associated with any opportunities at that facility. In my understanding to date, there's been limited, if any, opportunities for local people. So, in anticipation of knowing that I was coming here, I actually called Mr. Goodchild from the Cancer Treatment Center, and he actually told me that he was going to call me. And what he wanted me to do is facilitate a community meeting, actually a sit-down with the Cancer Treatment Center and the representatives of the Northwood Civic Association to try to iron out any differences as it relates to the hiring and some of the things that we move ahead. And I think they do understand that there will be some additional things that I would have to do for them. But as your representative, I'm only going to do that if I feel comfortable that any agreements that were reached were kept. Somewhere down the line, I'll be contacting your leadership sooner or later to set up that meeting and make sure we review the agreements and we make sure that people keep their word at the end of the day. I know that there were also some other provisions that related to inability to challenge some of the things that the community doesn't feel that's appropriate. And I understand that that's being worked on now by your leadership. So I just want to say I'll be supportive of whatever you all come up with as a result of that. At the end of the day, I just want to say that it's important, as your elected representative, I'm here for you, and that I provide the appropriate leadership, regardless of whether or not it's popular or make a tough decision. At the end of the day, you elected me to represent you, and I'm going to do what I have to do to make sure that my first priority is representing this particular community. As it relates to zoning, I didn't know you were 11 and up. 11 and up.
I was 11 and up when I got knocked out.
Don't say that. Don't say that. It's scary. See, we had really prepared for the next case. No, but I'm just glad Ms. Harris is really a valuable person on our staff. She grew up with her zoning opportunity. Karen is whenever I came make it with Karen, I always make sure that she's taking these steps. So I just want to say that it's just a pleasure and an opportunity to represent you. And I'll tell you, I continue to say that if this neighborhood wasn't so far from City Hall, we consider moving up here. It's too far to drive to work. But you really have a wonderful